Welcome back to Breakfast. Laser pointers, fun for the whole family. Well, think again. Turns out they're not so fun for your wee pup. The Association of Professional Dog Trainers NZ is calling for laser toys to be taken off the shelves at pet stores, or to at least be sold with warning labels. To explain why, we're joined by Association President and Canine Behaviourist Darren Rowe. Darren, thanks for coming in this morning.
Thanks.
What is the issue with these laser pointers?
Well, they look like they're harmless fun, don't they? You see a little dog running around, having a great time. But one of the major problems is they cause so much frustration for the dog, and they can't ever catch the dot.
Yes, which we think is entertaining for the dog.
Yeah, but actually it becomes frustrating, and there's so many different disorders and problems that can arise because of that.
Yeah. Is this only, I mean, these pointers have been around for quite a while. When I look them up, and I think I remember them from having pets as a kid. Yeah. And they are in pet stores, just on the shelf. They are.
There's a bit of a resurgence for them now. There's a couple of the bigger stores have picked them up. We just, as the association and as a behaviourist myself, we just really want to alert the public, I guess, to the potential dangers that using them or overusing them could be to certain types of dogs particularly. Yeah,
we've certainly had a bit of feedback from people already saying, whoops, I used it a bit, and then it caused one lady 4 years worth of behavioural problems.
Look, I'm working with numerous people that have dogs that have compulsive disorders because of laser.
We're looking at some footage now of a dog trying to get a dot on the wall. So you talk about the frustration. What if you realise that you've suddenly turned your dog into a bit of a psychopath from this laser? How does that behaviour exhibit itself? What would you notice? Because like, how do you know it was the laser sort of thing?
Right. So if you look at the dog there, you'll see that they're chasing. All dogs have a prey drive, so they're chasing to try and catch that dot. Now, normally, if that was a little bunny rabbit or something like that in the wild, or even a tuggy toy that you play, they get the toy and they're able to end the prey drive, so they grab it and they bite it.
Right, there's something to latch on to.
Exactly, yeah, so that prey drive closes off. With the laser pointer, we never catch it, so you just get left totally frustrated, and that's not a good place for a dog that has a high drive to be in, particularly the sort of herding dogs and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so does it just manifest itself in really irritating behaviour, like some people say having to close the curtains the whole morning, or does it lead to something more dangerous? Should you be worried about aggression?
It can lead to that sort of thing. The more things, the more the anxiety, because what happens is that they're constantly looking for that dot. So I'm working with a collie in a moment that as soon as the light flashes off someone's watch, they're like staring at the thing, and it's really sad for the dog because they spend their whole life just staring at shadows, or little lights and little flickers. Yeah. Because that's what it's almost like they're hooked into that, finding that little dot. So it is a really bad problem, and I wish they would just be off the shelves completely.
Yeah, so you want them off the shelves. Have you tried lobbying pet stores?
We haven't as yet. That would be the next step after coming and seeing you. I mean, even if there was just a warning on there that, did you know that this could cause your pet some real damage later. Yeah.
So just to clarify, okay for cats?
The recent research is that it's the same for cats. It may be something to do with the prey drive, is not as bad, but definitely for dogs. I'm actually a dog behaviourist. Yes. Definitely for dogs. For me, it's a no-no. Unless you want your dog running around screaming after little bits of light all the time, which please don't.
So if you've got this problem now, what do you do?
So I would seek a vet behaviourist or a clinical animal behaviourist, because you're probably going to need to work alongside a vet behaviourist to put some sort of medication in to bring down their anxiety levels, because it's not just going to be standard dog training, sit down, that sort of thing. It's quite involved because we've changed the chemistry of the brain. Yeah,
I mean, these are pretty cheap toys that you can get. Do people realise, I mean, I'm not saying that there are other toys out there like this, but there's such a huge, vast array of things to choose from for your animal. Yeah. How do you know that what you're choosing is not going to lead to this sort of behaviour?
Well, you don't unless there's a warning, but talk to a behaviourist, talk to a trainer and ask what kind of things you should use. Really anything that stimulates their mind, not in a compulsive way. Yeah. So chewing, sniffing, tuggy toys, those sort of things, anything that's going to exercise that prey drive in a safe way, and speak to a behaviourist or a trainer of how to play tuggy first is going to help, but nothing like laser pointers. Yeah.
Do you expect the pet shops are actually going to come on board with this idea? I mean, I know that they're supposed to, be there for animals and support you in your pet owning journey.
It would be great. I would urge them to. They're only small little toys. There's not going to be a huge dent, I wouldn't imagine. No. But the impact,
not compared to some stuff. No. You buy a few pets.
But the impact on the dogs. I mean, I don't know how much they are. A couple of dollars maybe, but that could be thousands.
Yeah, $12 or something.
So that could be thousands of dollars of training and medication for that dog going on if that does happen. So that's a huge thing to think about, isn't it?
Short-term cost, long-term cost.
Yeah.
Darren, thank you so much for coming in this morning. It's Darren Rowe, Canine Behaviourist.
Thank you.
Darren, we actually wish we had you on a little bit earlier. Well, Holly does at least anyway. She wishes she had known about the laser pointer and the issues that it has caused. 12 years later, her dog is still obsessed.
Yeah.
So obviously,
Anyone do that after 12 years, Darren?
Look, it's really hard, but I would urge that they go and see a vet and see if they can get some kind of help in a medical way, because...
I mean, don't put up with that for 12 years.
Oh, it's really hard, and it's... the dog can get really frustrated and then turn around and snap at you and snap at people, so it is a real problem. Thank you, Holly, for sharing that.
Yeah, it's an issue, right? Because at the time, and I think you mentioned this, Abby, if you think it's funny, you think that the dog is actually getting something out of this, but in actual fact, we're causing long-term damage, not only to the dog, but to us as well.
Yeah.
Then you have to put up with it after that. Hey. Thank you so much for your feedback with regards to that, but also your feedback around food